Hey everyone, hope y'all are enjoying this beautiful Thursday afternoon. Uh, so earlier today, I posted on LinkedIn say I was going to work on video later today. Uh, so as you can see, this isn't SIM, this isn't SEM, it's SIEM. So what does this mean? Well, it stands for Security Incident or Information Event Management. So what does this entail? So, security incident and event management systems or solutions are basically log aggregators. So, they're log aggregators. They themselves don't do logging like you would see like with a syslog server or anything like that. Like devices within a network would send their performance metrics or something like that. To them, and it would log all that stuff separate or copy the logs from the device into that server. At the same time, however that's configured. But so like I said, they're log aggregators, and they're log aggregators, and depending on the configuration, they can uh automatically detect, adverse things, incompatibilities, type of stuff where they basically are an automated way of doing comparisons and recognizing abnormalities. So sometimes, when you get a virus or you get a threat actor in your network, it may be a while before um, do you even recognize anything out of the norm, like the typical, weird files popping up or a slow connection, um, intermittent connection losses, that type of stuff before you even recognize if things even anything's even happened. Um, I mean, take the Chinese hackers that were found in our infrastructure. I mean, they'd been in there for months, supposedly, if not years, just monitoring, gathering data and all that, and before anybody recognized it. So that's where SIM comes in. You have the agent, you have what are called host-based intrusion and detection, um, services is really what they're called, HIDS, or network intrusion detection services, or uh, host-based intrusion, HEPS, services, and, NIPS, network network intrusion protection services such as Saracata. But Wazoo offers host-based intrusion detection services, host-based intrusion protection, or HIPS or HIDS. So, depending on the configuration, maybe just want the agent there monitoring your stuff, and then alerts whenever, it recognizes something, but it doesn't do anything, which is pretty much the default. But to get like the host space intrusion protection, you got to go in and do some more a little bit more configuring in the config file. So, I use Wazoo as well. For what you get with it, I mean, it offers a lot. I mean, it's, open source, free. If you install Linux OS or in a bare metal box, or you install a VM with Linux OS, either Debian or one of the Red Hat Enterprise Linux flavors such as CentOS, Fedora, that type of stuff. Um, you just gotta add the repo and just download it and all that. So, and I'll show here in a minute what I'm referring to. So, just it's the first page, your home page, I guess, and you got a lot of different things that you kind of just confronted with immediately. So, if you want to do work on endpoint security, you got configuration assessment. You open that, and you find the agent you want. I'll do, this computer right here. So this is also based on the type of security operation data management there. Remember, you have a SIEM solution along with agents installed. You're just looking for abnormalities as well and identify what your baseline is of the devices on your network, as well as what is the baseline for your network. So you can be able to, I can tell you right now, things that I just thought were just common annoyances and all that actually turned out, being completely serious and legit. Wasn't that long ago that I had set this up. I want to say towards the end of October of last year, when I first set it up, that I had a Chinese threat actor try and then break into my network. That day, whenever I woke up, it just, my internet was just bad. Like it was slowed down to a crawl. Things wouldn't work and all that. Couldn't really figure out why. I just thought maybe, as either my son or my wife, just having so many devices on the network running. So we don't have like cable television or anything like that here in my house. We just use the internet and we stream and all that like a bunch of other people do. So I just figured, does my wife on her phone, Facebook, she had the computer up, she had the TV on, my son was in his room playing his video games, plus his phone, and then on top of that, you got me, I was on my computer doing schoolwork as well, and all that. So you can see the load that would have on a network as far as bandwidth wise. So, I thought that's what was going on. Well, whenever I pulled up, Wazoo and went into threat, I mean, right here, right here, it pretty much looked like that, right? Like 10,000, but it was like 10,358 attempts in less than 6 hours, 46 hours on authentication failure. And it was one of my DNS servers. They're kind of logged into the web browser user interface that I had set up with Cockpit on. So whenever I traced back that IP address and all that, which I didn't have to do, it wasn't very difficult. I mean, I just clicked authentication failures and went to options inspect, and then that version of Wazoo, which I'm still kind of learning the newer version, but that version of Wazoo, you literally just click the little 3 buttons right here, hit inspect, and it would bring up everything that you needed on every authentication attempt. And it just came back and said right next to it that, the IP address was from China, from a brute force attack. And it was just like literally this is all the log said, which is login failure like for pages on it, and identified it as a brute force attack. over and over again. And then it changed from that. And then they tried a DDoS attack, and that's when eventually my network went under. I mean, it's consumer network on 1 gig connection. It's not going to take very much to DDoS it for whatever reason. But after seeing going through the logs and just to be safe and all that, I put that device, scrubbed the OS off of it as best as I could, securely deleted the hard drive just to be safe and make sure that, there wasn't an APT, advanced persistent threat, state actor from China trying to get in. So this is also, around that same time when they were, pushing news articles saying that China had been found within our infrastructure, our telecommunications infrastructure, saying, hey, they've been in here for months, years, possibly monitoring everyone. So, anyways, once I saw that, and they were still active, like they were still trying to get in, like after the DDoS, after the brute force and all that, they were still active. So I went into my main edge router and dropping that connection to that port as well, and reconfiguring some other rules in the firewall to ensure that kind of exposure didn't happen again. So, fortunately for me, I got lucky. I know 6 hours is a long time, but you gotta understand too that there's a 6 hour time difference between China and the US, maybe even longer. So, it was like, I think 7, 8 o'clock in the morning here. So over there, it was like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning and all that. So, but, anyways, I digress. So, as of right now, the current version of Wazoo is 4.11. But there, like I was saying, there's a lot. I mean, you have vulnerability detection as well. And this is the free, like, community version. This isn't the paid for version. Like, you get vulnerability detection, event, there's a lot to it. Like, this kind of stuff, like this type of thing, is built for businesses that have a pretty big online presence, such as, online retailers and all that, or cloud services and all that and everything. So, but the main thing that you're going to see, you probably end up spending a lot of your time on is like a threat hunting tab as well. Come up here and type in your search if you know what, the syntax of the query is, or you can go right here and click add filter. You can do it by geolocation, you can do it by agent ID specific, agent IP, agent name. Doing the filter will configure the query that you need to do. So, like, for instance, if I was trying to do rule something based on the rule wherever I was shown initially. So, I'm just doing timestamp, industry setting. So, timestamp exists. If it's keeping track appropriately, you'll have stuff come up. This is my NAS, network attached storage. So, and then this is just everything on the network, my entire network. Most of my devices doesn't have every one of them. That still doesn't show my DNS servers on there, and doesn't show my other computer, the biggest areas that I really find myself in the most is FIM, or file integrity monitoring, which keeps track of basically change management of all the files on your system. So, the reason why I use Wazoo is just because of how easy it is. So you set up. I'm going to use it. Like I said, I try to use Elasticsearch as well as OpenSearch. And for me, it was just, they were it was too difficult for me to really keep them up and running. And they have a lot of moving parts to them that if you don't, fully understand like the program behind it, which is Java, making it very frustrating, especially on how to like manage memory and keep memory leaks from happening and all that stuff. Depends on how intensive JavaScript is on memory. So this is the Wazoo website. It's literally just wazoo.com, or you can just Google Wazoo. This is on their, like I said, their current version software. If you go, when you get to this website, go to Quick Start and select that and scroll down, and this first header, I'm sorry, not first header, second header right here where it says installing Wazoo, you'll see a script right here. And the script works, from my experience, only with AMD 64 or x86 machines. So ARM 64 type machines don't really work. I tried to install it via this script on Raspberry Pi, and it just failed check every time. So, which is the reason why I set this up on a VM on my Active Directory Windows server. So, if you're watching this, I'm pretty certain you probably had experience in configuring virtual machines, especially in Hyper-V and all that. But just to show you, I'll bring it up here in a second. But anyways, so what I did is, like I said, I installed a virtual Ubuntu virtual machine on my Windows server, and I ran the script on that server, and it just went in and just configured everything for me, come up, and then, came up with, whenever it was finished, this right here, you don't make that password. It'll auto generate that password, and you have to go in and input it wherever you open up your GUI in your browser. So, if you know the IP of it, great. Just input it on your browser with HTTPS, not HTTP. Default username is admin, and then whatever the auto-generated password is. And then this next part right here, when it talks about, is just saying, hey, your browser's identified as a self-signing certificate. As long as you know and you trust that source when it comes up like it, because it's going to come up on your browser. So you type IP address and you get, hey, danger or whatever. So just click it, or click advanced, and then click the link to your IP address, and you should get the browser interface. Another thing too is, so say for instance, you ran the script and you hit enter and didn't pay attention, or you missed it or whatever, you can get your login information via this script right here as well. It just displays it out to your terminal and all that. So you don't have to go and try resetting the password or anything. You use that script, and it'll pop up with all your passwords for everything, not just your browser GUI. Like I mentioned earlier, Red Hat Linux distributions, Red Hat Enterprise Linux distribution to be used with Wazoo. I'm more comfortable with Debian myself, so I use APT. I've messed around with Fedora, I've messed around with CentOS, I've messed around with some of the Red Hat Enterprise distros, mostly doing labs for school. So this part right here is a recommendation. I'm sure if you're watching this and you work in IT, you probably seen multiple times where an update gets pushed automatically and your whole configuration gets jumped up. And if it's a production environment, um, it can literally lock that production environment up and then get it shut down. And next thing you know, you got customers and managers and everybody crawling down your neck, trying to figure out what's going on. So it's just saying, hey, really, if you don't want this if you don't want this to be automatically updated via act, we suggest you remove that repo. Same thing for Yum. So it gives you the code or all that stuff, or the syntax for the command right here. And the next steps, pretty much that one that does it all. So there's really a whole lot you need to do. I mean, if you want to go in more detail, and you want to say you want to run the WASI indexer on a separate machine, or in the WASI server on a separate machine, and the WASI dashboard on a separate machine as well, this guide offers that. Me being on a home network, I don't have that many devices, so I can get away with just doing everything on one machine and all that. But if you have like a network, with 100 or more devices on it and everything like that, then it's probably better to distribute the resources accordingly per each segment of Wazoo. So, like I mentioned earlier, I have my virtual machine on my Active Directory server for my for Wazoo, for my Siem as well. I have three other local DNS servers, and then my second Active Directory server that I use for replication. I don't use it for anything else. Just to make sure that Windows Server runs like it's supposed to. Reason I actually have a total of 4 local DNS servers. These 2 servers work on my DMZ, and this server and the other server that is stored in my NAS and runs in my NAS serves my WAN. So because of the way I have my network configured and the way I have my storage configured, I want the devices that handle storage and network storage completely isolated and separate from my DMZ, because I don't want to risk somebody being able to, get into my network and escalate privileges and manage to move laterally. And because my NAS is on the same network as my IoT devices and my smart TV and all that stuff, they can have direct access to a lot of stuff. Credit card information, payment information, just identifying information as well of me and my family. So that's a lot of the reason why I have it configured like that. And the 2 DNS servers that are on my local network utilize DNS over TLS. They don't use standard DNS, whereas these 2 servers use standard DNS and forward to my ISP's DNS servers. So, but I'm not going to go over, and I'm going to be done under the assumption that you're using Linux, specifically Debian, and that you've already had the virtual machine set up. as well. So that's here's when I kind of brushed in on the Wazoo site. But so say for instance you're done, you got everything set up, you finally got access to your GUI and all that, and you want to get monitoring on your end devices. So next thing you want to do, you can click active in your summary, and it'll automatically take you to your endpoints overview page. And you want to click this link right here where it says deploy a new agent. So select deploy new agent, and whether it's or Debian or Red Hat or Mac is the step process. So since I'm on a Windows desktop, I would select Windows. I would input the server name or server address. Where's the server address, and then the agent name that I'm creating. So since I have the host name of this device, I'll typically just assign the host name as the agent name. And then you just click this, and depending on what environment, it's either going to be Bash for Linux or it's going to be PowerShell. And you just open up your terminal, PowerShell terminal, and just alternate mouse button, click it. I'm not going to do it because I've already got it configured, but that's how you would get your script for your Wazoo agent. And then once you get that done, where it says start the agent, you just copy that command as well and paste it into your terminal and hit enter. Everything worked correctly. You should be able to see something like this in your start bar. And then once you click it, it'll bring that up. It'll bring that up right there. So if it's running, it'll say running. If it's on, it'll say stop. But then it's not the thing though, is once you do that, it's not going to automatically just pop up. You may get lucky and do it, but most of the time, my experience, it hasn't. I've always had to get it installed, hit running, and then once I see it's installed and running, then I got to reset it, restart it before it'll show up on my GUI, and it's actually sending information. If you got it installed and it still doesn't show up and everything, typically it's because that port's blocked. It's port 1517 that you want to unblock on your firewall so it can be able to talk. And it's also going to be, and it does it over TLS. It's not going to do it over unencrypted ports. So you may be able to get away with your GUI being unencrypted and all that, which I don't recommend. But as far as your agents, they're gonna all transmit data encrypted. So if everything went as it was supposed to, you didn't run any issues and all that, you shouldn't have anything to worry about. So, but like I said, it's literally that simple. You just go to their website, go to, I don't know why I said log in, I don't remember where even I tell it. So, but just click install, and then installation guide. Their installation guide, but really just done a quick start and copy paste that line in there, and it'll just take take over from there. But just pay attention to everything that comes out. Some if you have any issues, I mean, this is a great resource and shows you right here on how to even do Linux agents, and Red Hat Enterprise Linux flavors as well as Debian flavors. I'm guessing Zip is, I don't know. That's the first time I've seen that is some of my 11%. But as some of the guys that are providing the GUI support an agent, you can come here, do agents, and then all that stuff. But once you get your agents installed, to unlock the other feature sets, you need to SSH into your device. So say for instance you got your you're gonna already be SSH'd in, so for your agent installed. But if you're installing it on Linux, say NAS or whatever device you have, they're using Linux. But what's different with Wazoo versus other things is it doesn't use the etc in the root file system of Linux. It uses pretty much a separate file system within var. And can only access as a root user. So this is the config for it. So depending on what you want, like file integrity monitoring, root checks of file monitoring, OSSAD, which is much of, and it's just how they have maxed out my virus total API calls because you only get 500 a day on the free public version. So, but you want to go when you're doing Linux to configure your agent in Linux, you need to go in the config file and all that and redo it there. On Windows, to configure your agent, go into view config, and that's how you bring up your config file for your agent on Windows. You need to restart it. Debian or systemd, Linux distros, systemctl, restart, Wazoo agent, Windows, it's just manage, highlight, select, and restart. If everything is, coded correctly in the config file and all that, you shouldn't have an issue. You should just restart. Yeah. And the terminal of your Wazoo manager, which I find kind of odd. On the GUI, there's not really a way to be able to remove an agent, which I guess is a security type. It's a security thing. But in order to remove an old agent, var OSSEC bin manage agents. And if you want to add an agent, click A. If you want to extract a key, create a key or extract a key for a new agent, like say for instance, you've downloaded the agent from your browser and installed it that way, you have to go into the WASI manager, and run this script, and depending on what you want to do, and extract the key. And then what biggest thing when you're using this for is how many agents you have and what their ID numbers are, or remove an agent. So if you have an old agent that was created, but say for instance you reinstalled Windows on that device and all that, then you need to go in to the manager via SSH, terminal, or serial cable, whatever the case may be, and remove that agent before adding a new one. Because what will happen is the manager will sit there and run, but it won't give it a key because it thinks it's already given that key to that agent. So, that's the reason why, especially with a connection, because it is the same MAC address number that is being sent across at, data link layer 2. Then it's going to say, I've already given you a cert. You don't need another one. When in reality, that operating system is no longer there, so it does need one. So you got to remove that agent first before you install a new agent. So, anyways, I know this is a pretty long video. I know I seem to have dragged on and all that, but I just wanted to kind of show y'all on how to get a Siem set up with Wazoo. This is done on my home network. I'm not working for anybody or anything like that. So, pretty simple, pretty straightforward if you're already an IT type person. Like I said earlier, this video is done based on the assumption that you have already installed some kind of Linux VM as well. And I know it's pretty like a short tutorial, but there's so much information out there in regard to Wazoo, and it's literally one script that you just paste into your terminal, and off you go. The more complicated part is the configuring your agents and how you want to manage your WASI manager to interact with your agents. Are you just wanting detection, or are you wanting, protection as well? Do you want it to, take action, as far as threats are concerned, or do you want it just to say, hey, something's going on here? Anyways, I hope you learned something from it. And, if it's not anything new to you, whatever issue you may be troubleshooting, hopefully this helped get you through that. Maybe I showed you something that maybe you probably didn't see before. But either way, do you have any insight or any input that you want to share with me? I'm open, all that stuff. So, like, I'm pretty new to IT cybersecurity outside of school, and everybody knows that's all introductory, entry-level type stuff, especially when you just get your associates. So not everything for me isn't going to be, 100% correct and all that. So I'm very aware that I've made mistakes, and I could have made mistakes that I didn't catch and all that. So, anyways, thank you for watching, and I'll have a good one.